Alright, 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM listeners, you already know what time it is, and we got the legendary Willie Hen right here live on the line. How are you doing this evening?
Man, I'm feeling blessed and highly favored. How you doing, DJ Immortal?
I'm doing pretty good tonight, Willie. I gotta say, first and foremost, man, I've been a fan of yours for a long time, man. So just being able to chop it up with you live on my radio station is an absolute honor, man.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you.
But Willie, I know you're a busy guy, man, so I'm going to dive right into this interview. But I want to take you back to the beginning of your illustrious career, man. And I want to ask you, what actually inspired you and sparked the career of Willie Hen?
Man, just good music, man. Being surrounded by good music. You know what I'm saying? You know, my mom and my dad had played some good music. You know what I mean? My dad kept some good soul music in the tape deck back then, and mom's kept some good LPs. You know what I mean? I discovered a Sugar Hill Gang record early on, and I was practicing scratching. You know what I mean? I could have been the next DJ Immortal. You know what I mean? Because I started out just playing with records and replay. And back then records had break beats in the middle of it, so that's how hip hop sparked. So like a lot of people, Sugar Hill Gang was one of my early influences, as well as Too Short and E40, from the Bay Area, the two Bay Area legends, you know what I mean? And also Rapid Forte and Huey and T out of San Francisco, real early influences.
And also, man, when I first discovered you was actually in 1998, and I knew when we locked this interview in, I knew this was my first question that I really wanted to ask you. And I discovered you back in 98 when you were featured on Messy Marv and San Quinn's Explosive Mode album on the song Watch Out. I was wondering, how did that opportunity arise, and what was it like working with those two legendary Bay Area individuals at such a young age in your career?
Well, man, first and foremost, we all from San Francisco, California, the Fillmore district to be exact. And, they were like brothers in music at that point in life. Me and Quinn was real close. Me and Mess became close. And, when we all hung out in the same areas, me and Mess hung out in the same buildings for a while. And, we were brought together by the OGs in the hood. My OG Jay Stone and Herm, they decided we're going to put all the dope rappers from the Fillmore together and get them that we're going to start with a San Quinn and Messy Marv collabo, and we're going to make sure all the dope lyricists, in the hood are going to be on this, and we're going to keep this thing going. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that came about. We all formed a group called The Network, which is myself, San Quinn, Messy Marv, Demo the Youngster, Seth the Gaffler, Sky Baller, Lucci Siegel, and that's what we call them Trev, G, and Bill. You know what I'm saying? So it was a collective. We had a collective called The Network.
And I gotta ask you, is the network still around today? Because I do know that was 98, so obviously it's been 20 plus years. Like, is the network still around today? And are you guys working on it on any new projects?
Actually, man, we are, man. Lucci Siegel, which is Trev G, he's been coordinating the rebirth of the network, because we all still around. Sky Baller's home, Seth the Gaffler's home, Demo the Youngster's home. A lot of us, I went to prison, and been through a lot of street stuff. You know what I'm saying? So now that all the guys are home, we can putting it together. You know what I'm saying?
And I gotta say, I'm most definitely looking forward to that project, man, because I gotta say, you guys had phenomenal chemistry back in 98, man, and now that you guys are grown, you know what I mean, you had the opportunity to do music for so long, I'm really looking forward to hearing this mature project, man. I really am. It sounds like it's gonna be phenomenal.
Oh, man, it's coming. I guarantee you it's coming. I got a couple beats in my computer right now, writing stuff. We going in. We going in. Everybody's in the network. If you got the artwork from the CD, everybody in there is going to be a part of the project.
And also, first and foremost, you probably get asked this every interview, but I knew I had to cover this one as well. At one point, you were actually signed to Scarface, one-third of the legendary Geto Boys. I was wondering, how did yourself and Scarface meet? And of course, what was it like just being signed to him?
Oh, man, it was a great opportunity, man. From an early on, us out here in the Bay Area, you know, we did a lot of independent rapping, a lot of pushing ourselves. So, you know, it was big to be able to experience the flip side of that, like being signed and, you know, going on tour and all that. And that was, you know, it was a huge opportunity. You know, that was brought to me by the legendary producer Tone Capone out of Oakland, who produced I Got Five on it. You know, Smile with Tupac and Scarface, and you know, Keep It on the Real with Three Times Crazy, Keep It Sneak and all them. So, you know, Tone Capone brought that. You know, we were working together in close proximity and, you know, knocking out bangers, and Scarface got a hold to a couple of those songs that me and Tone were working on, and shit invited me down to Houston, you know what I'm saying? Because Tone Capone and Scarface and Rap-A-Lot always had a strong relationship since, you know, because Tone Capone also produced Mary Jane and, you know, certain stuff with Scarface early on.
And also, I gotta ask as well, man, like, because I do know as well that when you were signed to Scarface, he actually formed a group as well called The Product. I was wondering, man, how did yourself and Young Malice meet? Because I do know the other member was Scarface of The Product.
Oh yes, man. You know, that came from just those early days going to Houston, fucking with Scarface. You know what I mean? Working with Scarface, and you know, we first got together to work on a like a soundtrack for a movie. There was some movie. Scarface was still the president of Def Jam South at the time, and he had like been commissioned to knock out the soundtrack. So Scarface flew about 7, 8 of us guys in, you know what I mean, just to work on random songs. And then I guess me and Young Malice stood out to him, so he thought about putting another group together. And of course, we couldn't pass up that opportunity, man. You know, I grew up listening to Scarface, so that's how that came together.
And also as well, I want to take you back a little bit here in the timeline. I don't mean to jump all over the place, but I remember as well you were actually a member of another group by the name of Do or Die. And I remember in 1995, you guys actually dropped the record titled "Falling in Love with the Game." I gotta ask you, man, what was it like just being part of the Do or Die group and just working on falling in love with the game?
Oh man, you really did your homework, boy. Hey, you a cold dude, man. Yeah, Do or Die was like one of my earliest releases. It was a group, you know, executive produced by my cousin, my actual blood cousin, Jedi. We call him Jedi Warrior, you know, Jedis. You know, and you know, it was more of a collective as well. He brought us together, and we worked on an album, and we cranked out, you know, a bunch of dope ass joints. You know, myself, KB Slim, you know, also known as Black Holiday, J Lo, Jedi, King Dre, Coon Dog. You know, it was a few of us, man, and you know, 210, the R&B singer was 210, and my boy Cedric Jonay and Herb Parlow, they were the primary producers. It was just early work, man. You know, came together just representing that Bay Area and trying to bring some good music to the table. You know what I mean?
And I gotta say, my favorite joint off that record as well, man, is actually Hen Dog Night. My personal opinion, man, you go freaking hard on that joint.
I appreciate you, man. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to, you know, put some work in. I try to put my best foot forward, you know, every time I get the mic.
And also, as you already know, we got connected through Miss Bay Area 411, also known as Carmen Grayson. I was wondering, how did yourself and Carmen initially get connected? And of course, what is it like having her as a PR man? Because some days I sit back there, Willie, and I say to myself, does this individual even sleep, man? Because she's always working.
Man, shout out to Carmen, Miss 411 Bay Area, man. That's the home girl. She's the type of people who keep the wheels turning. You know, when you're out here doing this music and trying to get your music to the world, you know, nothing but love for Miss Carmen. I got her back. Y'all bet not mess with her. You feel me? She's an amazing woman, man, and she's pushing the culture. You know what I'm saying? She's a key, you know, part of us pushing this culture, especially this Bay Area culture, and getting to the world. So y'all make sure y'all go follow her on Instagram, Miss 411 Bay Area. You know what I mean? And show her some love. We put it all together.
And also as well, I remember actually reading this in this magazine, but you also received a Source magazine hip hop quotable for your lyrical contribution for the record The Product 100. I have to ask you, how does it feel at that time to be recognized by one of then the hip hop's biggest magazine outlets?
Oh man, I mean it's huge now in hindsight. To be honest, I didn't even realize how huge it was. But you know, I had a stack of 100 Source magazines in my living room, just like everybody else. So when I started going through the Source magazines and seeing who was getting the hip hop quotable, that's what really made it big to me, because it was just like Pop, Biggie, Jadakiss, Pop, Biggie, Jadakiss, Jay-Z, Pop, you know, just Scarface, you know, just artists that I respect. And then, you know, my homeboys, like my homeboy General, you know, he was calling me from the penitentiary, like, man, keeping me like, boy, you got the fucking hip hop quotable, man, you know, and I'm just being my humble, regular self. But, you know, it was big. It was bigger to me because it was big to my guys in the joint, because all they had was magazines. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what made it huge to me. But I'm honored by that. Shout out to Matty C. Shout out to Benzino. Shout out to my guy who wrote the interview. I believe it was one of the guys. But shout out to the whole Source magazine. Shout out to you know, everybody over there who, you know, liked my lyrics enough to print them out and put it in the quotable, man.
And I gotta say as well, man, like me personally, I miss the old days, man. Like I know everything's gone digital now, unfortunately, but sometimes I just miss going to the newsstand, man, and buying myself Vibe or buying myself the Source magazine, man. I wish they'd bring back the hard copies of that.
Oh man, no question, man. We might have to shout out Benzino, man, and see, you know, lift him up, lift his spirits, get him out of that funk, and get him back on it, man. Matty C, if y'all listening, y'all tune in, man. Let's bring that thing back. We do need it.
I even remember back in the day they used to give out like free posters every now and then. You know, you get like a special issue and you get a nice kick-ass poster for your wall or studio, man. I remember those days.
Man, it was all about the fan experience. You know, we gotta bring that back. You know what I mean? The fans now with social media and everything, it's like fans talk to you every day. So I guess, you know, it's like they think that's not important, but some fans still want those folders to put on, those posters to put on the wall. You know what I mean?
And also as well, aside from your music career for a few moments, you're actually an actor as well. And I also read that you actually played the lead role as Crackpot in the stage play called Hubba City. I was wondering if you can tell our listeners a bit more about that experience, and of course, how did you actually initially land that role back in the day?
Oh yeah, the Crackpot role actually. You know, my uncle was like a director. He was like a play director, a playwright, play director type, artistic type guy. Rest in peace, Vern. You know, Uncle Vern. But he was a you know, like a community arts type person, and he was, you know, so he was on the art scene, and I guess, you know, the playwright. You know, you can look up Ishmael Reed. He's like a well-known playwright. You know what I mean? You know, with links to the Black Panther Party and all that. And he had a play called Hubba City. You know what I'm saying? So my uncle told me, man, you might want to come out and audition for it. So I came out and I auditioned for it. I had never done a play or nothing before, but I just figured, you know, I might as well try my hand at it. I ended up getting the role, and it just ended up being like a well-received play. You know what I'm saying? It went on to open up in different cities and, you know, different states with different actors too. But I think we were the first flagship play. And, you know, it got rave reviews. It got covered by all the papers and publications and everything. So I'm extremely appreciative of my uncle. Rest in peace, Uncle Boo. He's since passed on, but you know, yeah, he gave me my first acting gig, I guess I could say.
And also, in 2019, you actually starred in the movie titled The Last Black Man in San Francisco. I was wondering if you could tell our listeners a bit more about that movie, and of course, how did that opportunity come to be for you? And of course, also, where can we actually watch that today?
Oh man, yeah. The Last Black Man in San Francisco. It was a major film released in theaters all over the nation, and it also internationally. It ended up being ended up being released internationally as well in Europe and also Japan right now. The way that came about was, I had the audition, of course, but my man, Richter 5'2", man, he reached out to me. He told me, man, they're shooting this movie in San Francisco here, and I've been talking to the directors and the co-director, Rob, and everything, and, man, I'm telling them that you would be perfect for this role, because they really wanted some authentic San Francisco people in the movie anyway, so it was just like, it was huge, you know what I'm saying? It was big, so I just went on down. I read once for the co-director, Rob, and I read again for the director, Joe Talbot, and, and then next thing you know, I'm at the wardrobe getting fitted for some clothes and still didn't know I had the role, you know what I mean? I thought they might have wanted me to be an extra or stand-in or something, and then, they told me, hey, they didn't tell you, you got the role, so I guess I won them over with my audition, and, the rest is history, man. But as far as the movie, it's out now. It's streaming. It's on Amazon Prime. If you got Amazon Prime, it'll probably be on Netflix and every other thing soon. But for right now, it's on Amazon Prime. And the title is The Last Black Man in San Francisco. That's the title.
And I gotta say as well, that movie is absolutely inspirational, man, about an individual trying to reclaim his Victorian style home. But I gotta ask you, is that movie actually based on a true story, or is it just like obviously or is it like a non-fictional story?
No, it's actually based on a real story. Hollywood is going to always add a couple things to a story, but this particular movie is based on the story of the lead character, Jimmy Fails. It's a real story about him and the house he grew up in. You know what I mean? In my neighborhood, which is the Fillmore district of San Francisco. So the house is based on, the movie's based on a house in the neighborhood, in the hood. You know what I mean? That, they lost, like a lot of people lost their home. You know what I'm saying? Due to gentrification and, just, rising prices and all that type shit. Poverty.
And also as well, I noticed that you recently just dropped a new project titled Struggle Rap. I was wondering if you can tell our listeners a story and inspiration behind that project, and of course, where can we buy or stream ourselves a copy of Struggle Rap today?
Okay, so right now, Struggle Rap it's a project. It's a small project. It's going to be an EP, but for right now, we just dropped the single, which is also titled Struggle Rap, and you can stream that on all platforms, starting with Apple Music to Pandora to Spotify to Tidal, Google Play, Amazon Music. That's everywhere, so you can get that right now. You know what I mean? And everything else that pops up, go ahead and tap on it and listen to it. Make me a playlist. You dig?
But I gotta ask you, Willie, what is next for you? Because I know I only touched base on a sliver of your entire career during this interview, but what is next for Willie Hen? Is there anything I happen to miss during this interview? Anything else you still want to talk about or promote? What would have you here live on the Canadian airwaves?
Yeah, well, I do want to shout out my other collective, which is the Done Deal family, which also consists of myself, San Quinn, Don Toriano, who's also the founder of a restaurant called Vegan Mob, and, Bailey, also founder of Paid SF Clothing, and also Big Rich, who runs Project Level, and who's responsible for the artist 24 Karat Golden, or 24 Golden, if you've heard of him. You know what I'm saying? So, a lot of things have come out of this San Francisco and out of this Fillmore that we might not be recognized for, but you know what I'm saying? Like I said, Project Level with Big Rich, part of the Done Deal family. They also made a collaboration with Forever 21. And so look for that brand as well. And, I want to tell y'all about a new merger and a new situation I have with a record company called Tap-In Records. You know what I'm saying? And with my boy Jay, my brother. You know what I'm saying? We've been working together for years, and we come together and just merged our two companies, which is Mac Game Music and Tap-In Records. And we landed a situation with 88 Warner Records. So be looking for some good music, man, some good collabos, some good, just some good things as well as our marijuana strands. You know what I'm saying? We linked up with Compound Genetics, Blue Gray over there at Compound, and we're working on a couple strands right now. I can tell you about 3 of them. One is Frisco Treat. One is the Honey Brand series. It'll be a series of different grades and different strands. And then also, we're bringing Catfish back.
And I gotta say, pertaining to the strand, I hopefully it hits Canada, man, at some point, because I would love to get high on some Willie Hen weed.
Man, you have to. I'm gonna make sure it's Canada because I'm gonna put a package together for you. I don't know if I can send it. You might have to come get it and enjoy it with us in the beautiful city of San Francisco. But I'm gonna make sure you get to try some.
Hey, man, I'm gonna be honest. I cannot say no to that. After all, what's better than smoking some weed when you're under a palm tree? You know what I mean, with the ocean right in front of you, man. I think that sounds like a deal, man. Once these borders open back up, we gotta make that a reality.
Yeah, they got to come see San Francisco. In case y'all don't know, if you've heard of the term the Bay Area, San Francisco is the epicenter of the Bay Area. That's the big city, and all the other surrounding cities like East Palo Alto, Oakland, Richmond, Vallejo, Fairfield, and all that, they surround together collectively, including the city of San Francisco. We are the Bay Area.
Hey, well, you know what I gotta say? We were dealing with snow for the past 6 months down here in Canada, so palm trees sound actually absolutely delightful at this point.
Man, come on, it's 80 degrees right now, man. Come on out here, DJ Immortal. Come on and kick it, man. You know what I'm saying? Come thaw out, man. Come on to Cali and thaw out for a minute.
Hey, man, sounds like a plan. But, Willie, this is the time in the interview quickly that I give a chance for the individual that does slide into the radio station airwaves. Just a chance to give shoutouts to whomever they want to give shoutouts to. But most of all, man, your social media handles. That way our listeners can follow you and stay updated on everything Willie Hen if they're not already doing so.
Oh, man, definitely. Follow me at Instagram. I'm most active on Instagram. My Instagram handle is at WILLIEHEN. All one word. Willie Hen, all one word. Facebook, just search Willie Hen. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Willie Hen. Or you can search Willie Hen Topic. You know what I mean? I'm on Twitter, at Willie Hen. Everything Willie Hen. And also I'm at Matt Game Music on Instagram too. That's MACKGAME Music. Matt Game Music. Follow Tap In Records too. And be on the lookout for Dane Clothing Co. also.
And I gotta say first, sorry about that, Willie. My apologies.
Yeah, and shout out to Asali Boutique. That's another venture we working on. Clothing for fashion for women. They're on Instagram at Asali Boutique, as well as Nina Lim Beauty. You know what I'm saying? Service provider. If you need a vajacial, if you need a wax, facial, everything. Tap in with my people.
Most definitely, ladies and gentlemen. For all the ladies that are listening, make sure you get yourself some merchandise. Get it while it's hot. Either you get it or you most definitely will regret it.
Yeah, and we're working on some teeth whitening ventures too. So tap in. Just be on the lookout for everything that we're working on, because it's definitely coming. From weed to getting your teeth whitening, we got you, baby.
Hey, you never know. Maybe at some point you can actually get weed that actually, you know what I mean, that will whiten your teeth at the same time. You never know, man.
Yeah, that's next, man. That'll be revolutionary.
But I gotta say, Willie, thank you so much, man, for just taking a little bit of your time this evening and coming on 97.7 Outlaw Radio FM. It was an honor and most definitely a privilege, man. And hopefully down the line we can make this happen again sometime soon. But for now, stay safe out there in San Francisco, and we most definitely shall talk sometime soon.
Hey, and I appreciate you having me, man. Be smooth.
Hey, man, you already know. Thank you so much, man. Have yourself a wonderful night.
All right, you too. 100.